Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, where you can awaken your mind to clarity and success even in today's life challenges. We're here to provide insights and solutions that will help you live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hello, everybody. This is Joanne Victoria with another amazing episode of the Sanity Project podcast. You are here to discover a life of clarity, confidence, sanity, and entrepreneurial success. And we have an amazing guest today. Our amazing guest is Juan Lee, the author, who has written a book called Love Made Simple. And that's what Juan is all about. That's what his talk is going to be all about. And I couldn't think of a better guest to have on the show is to someone to talk about love. And it's because we have it all in common. So welcome to the show, Juan Lee.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate having me on your show.
Well, I'm grateful that you were here because your message as a transformational speaker, thought leader, and author has, it just makes a huge amount of difference. I read your website today, of course, and I see that people are still confused by what love truly is. And that we all have it, and that some of them are just aligning it with church and God as opposed to humanity. So, Juan, how do you get people to look at humanity and know that we have love, all have love in common?
Well, it's very interesting because it's that confusion about love and God that I went on a journey some years ago, trying to figure out how do you make it applicable to everybody instead of making it something that has been for so many years divisive. It was, and to be honest with you, it's the religious part of love that makes it very, very difficult and confusing to basically find it for yourself. And so basically, I'm looking at how can you reimagine love in a way that meets everyone at the same place. And that place was called humanity. We have that in common.
Okay, well, when you say humanity, what is your definition of humanity?
Well, humanity is every one of us in this place called a human that resides in that humanity. And human is a human. We are connected in this environment with the same purpose and the same let's say the same outcome. Not to go too deep into it, but, life is a platform that we have to, we experience. And this experience is something that humans do. We are experiencing this life. And so while doing that, we have a responsibility to each and every one of us from generation to generation to preserve it, protect it, so that there be the next generation. And so while finding out how do we preserve it, I've realized that there is a system in place that allows us to protect and to preserve humanity. And that's love. Love is the system that allows humanity to continue to exist. And when we realize that, when we understand that, then we begin to exercise and operate out of this concept of out of love, because we know that we have all the same. We have everything in common with one another. We breathe, we eat, we experience things. That's all about living the experience to invest into humanity for the next generation.
That's a powerful statement. What is that?
Excuse me?
There's feedback there. Are you recording this?
No.
There's something going on where I'm giving myself feedback here. I have to make a note for editing here.
It could be my squeaky chair. Hopefully not.
No, I heard my own voice. So I don't know, but I will handle that because it was like, whoa. It was weird. It was weird. Okay.
No, sorry.
No, don't worry about it. That's fine because I was so engrossed in what you had to say and taking notes about it, and then all of a sudden I opened my mouth and it sounded like Godzilla. So okay, 1, 2, 3. Here we go again. So your statement of how you see love as a way to protect and preserve us as a species. Yes. I've never heard it put that way.
It's the one thing that as I've studied, I've looked at, and love has components in it. And the one things that the things that I like to use is the 3 C's of love. It's a chameleon, it's a conduit, and it's a choice. And when we exercise and operate out of all of those 3 C's, they protect and preserve humanity. I'll give you a little bit as it relates to a chameleon. Chameleon says that we're adaptable. That means that no matter the situation or circumstances, we will adapt. That's what love is. It allows us to adapt to one another, to any situation, to any circumstance. It's about that ability to have what it takes to meet the objectives and the needs that are presented, no matter what it is. And then when it comes to the conduit, it's that conduit that connects one another. It connects us one to the other. And that allows us to flow our abilities one to another that unifies us. That means that your needs are being met and my needs are being met because we are connected together. It's almost like a bloodline. It's what gives us the energy, gives us what we need. And then ultimately, it's a choice. It's the ability that we have to choose to accept love as the most important thing that we need to exist. It's that ability to understand that without love, we're divided, we're separated. We don't have the abilities within ourselves to meet the needs of one another or ourselves, because there's no success in life apart from one another. We need each other. There is not a business, not anything in existence that does it in a vacuum by itself. And that's what love does. It affords us the opportunity to reach our fullest potential because we are allowing ourselves to meet the needs of others. And when that is, there is no greater feeling in to be fulfilled is to know that what you have is appreciated.
Yes.
And that's what love does. It gives us that ability to understand that when we invest what we have into someone else and you see that value flourish or benefit that person, oh man, there's nothing that we like more than that, than to know that what we have has been useful to someone else.
You're so correct. The things that you are saying, I'm in awe of the way you characterize things with the chameleon, how we're adaptable. And I've been talking about people have to be adapting during this strange time, but people have to adapt all the time. Every single day, it's a step to the left, it's a step to the right. Whatever you need to do, you have to adjust yourself and you have to be able to adapt to change. People are afraid to do that. They just get stuck and rigid and don't move forward.
And it's amazing because it's that goes into something that I was writing just today.
Oh.
And I was writing about how time dictates the boundaries of your existence, of your life experience. And time doesn't allow you the opportunity to just sit on the doggone sideline.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. And so you have this moment, and the best thing that you can do is to prepare for those moments, because they're coming. And if you don't take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves, they're not going to stay around. It's going to continue to move. So preparation is so important as it relates to living this life experience. And so love does so many things because it prepares us. It allows us to understand that we need each other, and we have to prepare for that, because the only way we're going to have to give is that we prepare to give. And that's a part of this cycle of life, that it's not going to give you. I like to say, if you're a golfer, life gives you no mulligans.
Right.
There aren't any. Time won't allow for mulligans. You really have to engage them and begin to understand that it's all, that this is the moment that we have, and we have to embrace it. We have to adapt to it, because we can't hold back what we think we should do. We have to adjust and move on.
We have to be ready. I don't know what that reverb is, but it's going to be edited out. We have to be ready, and we have to be ready for anything, for whatever might come. And if we're not ready, we're going to miss. We're not going to be able to get on the boat, the plane, whatever it might be, and we will miss things. So we must be ready. And how do you tell people to be ready?
Well, again, one of those very interesting parts of what I do is we do self-development, and that's what love really allows you to understand, that when you know that you have to be willing to give. That's at the end of developing yourself. And that means that we've got to do a lot of introspection to understand where we fall into this existence that we are called life. Everything has a purpose. And I think for so many of us, we do not realize that we have a purpose, and we need to understand it. The sooner we understand that we have a purpose, we can see the value of love. If we see no value or no reason for why we do and why we need each other, love becomes to be something that we can set to the side, because it's the vehicle for the success, for us to reach our goals. It's so amazing, because love is an attitude. It's a list of attitudes, and it allows us to present ourselves in a way in which we can be successful in life. And so those attitudes of love has not only our personal benefits in it, but it has benefits to humanity. And that's where you begin to set your own personal boundaries, because it's not about being selfish. Love is not selfish, and so you have to begin to understand, with the attitudes of love, they're going to have humanity in mind. And so you begin to establish and build up who you are, the things that are important to you as it relates to what you're willing to want to invest into humanity. And humanity lives on after we are gone. That's the investment that we're using when we have to have that understanding. I was listening to one of your previous podcasts on your website, and we were talking about, your guest was talking about finances. And I said, that is so very vital to being able to understand that every action in life has some financial responsibility, has some alliances with. And so we need that type of understanding to be able to make it through this thing called life. And so I say that to say that, as we look at love in the totality of what its value is, it shows us that we need to be able to be well-rounded so that we can understand those challenges that life presents through preparation. And that's one of the financial preparations we all need to have a better understanding of.
So true. There's this old book for children by Shel Silverstein called The Missing Piece. I don't know if you are familiar with that. And it's about a rock, a boulder, let's say, who's missing a piece. Mm-hmm. And it's a pie-shaped piece. And this boulder keeps floating around looking for his missing piece, his or her missing piece. And he tries all sorts of other things to fit in, and nothing does until he learns to love and accept who he is as he is.
That is so true. When you go through, we talk about the attitudes in my book. And it really, when you begin to take on these attitudes of love for humanity, it begins to change your perspective on life in and of itself. And the things that were once challenges are no longer challenges. It's like the piece of pie comes right back in place. It's how you view it. It's how you look at it. And, if you get it, it's almost though the less you work for it, the easier it is that it comes to you. But it's based on the perspective that allows it to come to you.
Again, it's that adapting.
Yes, that's a part of the change. You've got to be willing to accept change.
So what happens to people? Well, I'm pretty sure I'm aware, and the listeners might be aware, but what happens to people if they're unwilling to change and they can't accept the possibility of what their life could be like if they did change?
That's an interesting thought there, and that's really where a lot of people struggle with this concept of love for humanity, is because they're so familiar and they're so comfortable with the selfishness that is opposing love, that opposes love. And, they're comfortable. And the things that I'm speaking to you about here with love, it is so unexpected to see the power of love being in place, to understand this type of power. We're so unfamiliar with it. Mm-hmm. Because power has a tendency to look like it has to be something that is, it's forceful.
Yeah, warrior-like as opposed to gentle.
Absolutely. It's interesting. If you look up the definition of a chameleon, it says it's about change and it's for the benefit of others. It's for to approve and to have the ability to be successful. And that's the furthest thing from beating someone over the head.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's my belief is one of my many, but my belief about us is that we are here on earth to serve to the benefit of others. That is our job. Whatever our delineation is beyond that, you're an author, I'm a this, other people are that, but we are here for the benefit of others. And I think I understand more about that based on your perspective and your point of view about love.
It sets it so very clear. If you haven't seen or heard it before, understand love is the system that allows us all to be successful in this life experience. We need each other. So it's essential.
I know. So there are people out there listening. I'm sure many, hopefully, are understanding you and are putting your words into part of their brain that they can, expand a little further and adapt a little bit more. But there are others out there going, he doesn't know what he's talking about. How is love the system? It's capitalism. It's everything else but love. So what are these people going to do? How can you help? How can you say it in any simpler words that they need to understand what love is about in order to be a successful human being, in order to have a successful family and grandchildren and society and the world? What can you say to them?
Here's the measuring bar that I use to redefine success. And that is, success is first and foremost, it's a state of mind. You have to have peace. You have to have peace. When we're walking and talking and we're in this and we don't have any peace, and what I mean by peace is a mind that's clear from worry or concern. These are the little signs. See, love allows you to have peace in your mind. And see, we get up in this grind in this capitalist society and don't realize that we don't have any peace.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have peace. And these are the subtleties that love allows you to see the value in. And as soon as you get it, you don't want to lose it. And you have to be able to understand, what does it mean? What is the value of having a peace of mind, a state that you can be clear of worry and concern? That's valuable. And one of the things that I try to instill in my book is that once you get it, I take my book and I break it down into, 4 categories at the end of each chapter. And it's by teenagers, young adults, and seniors. And that they should have success and this peace at each stage of their life. No matter what stage you're in, we should always have peace. And then the other one is that ability to be content. And that is to operate within your abilities while pursuing your potential. That is, that sets the mind for how you know what an opportunity is for you versus an opportunity that's not yours. Something that will draw you away and keep you grinding instead of maintaining your peace. And then when you realize that at the end of the day, you have your needs met according to your abilities, not comparing yourself to anyone else. That's success. I don't care what material things that you might have, when you don't have, when your needs are met at the level according to your abilities, that's fulfillment. That's the contentment. That's a peace of mind that we all desire, each and every one of us, no matter where we are in this capitalist society. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I think that's what Maslow says, that his first or second, we have to have what are the needs that you need met in order to move forward. But the first ones, I think we're talking about food and shelter, basic needs. And not everyone has that. But if you do have that, that's enough for today.
Well, and the thing about it is that we need each other. There's no reason that those bare necessities can't be met by one another. See, that's one of the very fundamental things that we need to really reach out to say, the ability to be able to not give me, but show me, there's one of the biggest things that I realized in writing my book is that most people are afraid to ask for help. We just won't ask for help. And help is one of those things that brings fulfillment to the person who's giving you the help.
Right.
And so if we just reach out to people that, hey, can you help me? You have something that I need. Can you help me? We have to be willing and able to say, I need help. And I learned this in my journey. I don't know if we have time to talk about my personal journey, so to speak, but I have a learning disability. And it was undiagnosed until I was like 37 years old. And I realized at that point that I needed help. I couldn't do it by myself. And I realized that I needed to reach out to people to assist me in areas where I couldn't do things or I didn't know how. But that was where I realized that my potential, my greatest strengths was on the other side of my weakness, because once I asked for help, they were able to assist me reach a higher level.
Yes, and people love to be able to do that. It's a feeling that one gets when you have a gift to give someone and you do it, and then whether it's appreciated or not, but just given and received, it's a miracle in and of itself.
And it brings fulfillment.
Absolutely.
It brings fulfillment.
So I want to ask you, where can people find your book, which is called Love Made Simple?
Love Made Simple. You can go to my website, juanleetheauthor.com.
That's JUANLEE, theauthor.com, people, for those who are listening.
Yes. And you can actually buy the ebook online there, or you can, go to any of your bookstores. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. But you can go to the website, see what's happening there, and there's a link to Amazon and other outlets on my website that you can buy the hard or the paperback book. And I'm hopeful that you will understand love just a little bit clearer by taking a read.
Well, I know I do, and I know the people who are listening do as well. And I always suggest that people listen to a podcast again more than once and take notes, because your information here today is powerful, and people should write it down and carry it with them, then buy the book as well. I'm grateful that you were here today, Juan Lee. This has just been a very powerful day, very powerful time. And I wonder if you realize how powerful you are as a human being with the message that you are spreading to everyone else about love, because love is simple.
Yeah. And that's what I really wanted to share with my readers and my listeners, is that it's not a mystery. It's something that's very simple if only we take ourselves out of the way. If we get out of the way and just allow, because it's in us to give that which we have, and we not concern ourselves with what the results is of what we get or what we give. Right. Just be willing to give it. Just very easily, just give it. And here's the thing: you can only give what you have. So it's not like somebody's asking for something that you don't have. It's just in you to give what you have, but it takes that ability to understand first what it is you have. And correct. I think that's the part also that inside of what I'm doing is that you would realize that you do have something that's important, it's necessary, and it is sufficient. And if you grab hold of it, you understand what it is, then you'll give it to anyone and be fulfilled by giving it to them.
Okay, everybody, go to juanleetheauthor.com and give yourself a serious think about buying his book called Love Made Simple. I want to thank you, Juan, for being here today, because as I said before, this is a very powerful topic, and I hope people listen to this over and over again. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com to listen to more podcasts. Check out Joanne's coaching programs and get a free copy of her report, 5 Steps to Achieve Life-Work Harmony. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.